How do you know when you're in a conflicted room?
Part of that is emotional. So you can kind of feel when the blood pressure of the room goes up. I think that's mostly what my answer is. But there's also a level of just disagreement on kind of details. But I think about it in terms of the blood pressure of the room.
The intensity of that disagreement. And before you can start to unpack the interests and issues involved, you got to dial the intensity back sometimes.
Yeah. I think about conflict management, not solving it or not always transforming it, but just managing it. And for me, it's managing the emotional issues involved. I think those tend to be more volatile, more capable of destruction than construction.
What if the conflict is exactly what needs to happen? Rather than pushing it down the road or pushing it down or whatever, the conflict is what that church needs to go through. And that's pretty far in the back of our minds as far as what we think our role is.
Yeah, so how do you tell the difference? What's garden variety, good conflict, and what has the potential to do more harm than good?
The example that comes to mind early is the Finance Committee is making the report to the council, and questions are asked. What about this line item? Why are we spending so much on this? Or what about that money we voted on last meeting? Was that spent? They're asking factual questions, and the Finance Committee chair, the person reporting, has to answer those questions. And the way that they respond, they may feel defensive about it. They may feel like it's already been in the newsletter. Why didn't you read it? Or whatever it is, But how does that conversation go? Because it might be getting on the finance chair's nerves a little bit that somebody's asking that question, but they handle it okay. Mm-hmm. They don't inject anything personal about it or whatever. They don't take it that way, and they answer it factually. This is what and maybe that answers the question. Maybe it brings up other questions in the room. But I think that's the thing, is the fact that anybody's asking questions about the budget at all, for some people already, that makes their blood pressure rise. We should just trust. So I think that's part of it, is the question and answer, how that goes back and forth. But I've got people who get upset when we don't have any questions. When we pass a budget for the next year and we don't have any questions at all, some people tell me afterwards, well, why weren't there any questions about that?
Yeah. For me, an ideal vote in admin council is when there are one or two dissenting votes, and when it's unanimous, it's just always kind of boring. But I always felt it was a sign of health to have at least a couple of people who felt strongly enough to voice their opinion and not feel threatened by doing so or by not doing so.
Yeah, we had a big vote, a year ago or something like that, and the lay leader and a staff member voted against it, and everybody else voted. And I thought that was good. And the lay leader and the staff member got to express their opinions. They were heard. The vote went against those two, but they made their votes. There were a few others maybe that abstained or whatever. But I thought that was healthy, because it was a big deal. It was an important decision, and especially to have two prominent people speak out and vote against it, I thought that was good. Better than it being unanimous in some ways, I guess.